It has been about a month, I want to say, since my last creepypasta reaction, and today I decided to react to a creepypasta. Nothing too big, nothing too special, and the one we are going to be reacting to is every house on my block got a new antenna last night. Never seen this one before, and this one seemed pretty good to react to for the first time when I was scrolling through his channel to look for creepypastas to add to the playlist of ones that I want to react to in the near future. And of course, these are not my videos, these belong to CreepyPastaJr. They belong to him. If you want to go subscribe to CreepyPastaJr. on YouTube, go watch his videos, go subscribe to him, show him some appreciation. And the only reason why I'm reacting to these videos and started this series was to show my appreciation to the videos and to show how scary they can be and disturbing they can be, because some of them are disturbing. Especially the last couple I've reacted to, they've they're pretty scary and disturbing. Um, I think it was the police scanner, and I think it was about a 911 call. So those were pretty disturbing and scary. But we're going to be reacting to the every house on my block got a new antenna last night. First blind reaction. I know nothing about this video, so let's begin. Let's go full screen. Gotta go full screen.
The antennas weren't installed during the day. Somebody would have noticed the electrician's van in the street. I don't see how they could have been put in at night either, though. I can clearly hear when squirrels chase each other on my roof. There's no way I wouldn't notice someone walking around up there. Mrs. Jackson, a woman who lives in the house right next to mine, noticed them first. She had already called the power department, our internet and cable providers, and the homeowners association, none of which had a clue as to what they were.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say they probably denied it. Which is true, of course, as you just heard.
She insisted that I step outside and look at them, despite my face clearly expressing zero interest. Her voice was steadily growing more shrill with every word, so I eventually allowed her to drag me outside to avoid waking my 6-year-old daughter, Emma. Bleary-eyed, still in my bathrobe and pajamas, I followed Mrs. Jackson to the street to get a proper view of the thing. The antennas had 3 metal prongs, a bit like a pitchfork, pure black unlike the typical silvery metallic ones. I spent several minutes nodding seriously as she rambled on and on, wondering how long I was expected to stand there before I could politely resume my apathy. "You could probably climb up there from your balcony," she pointed as she told me. "All you have to do is jump up and grab. Wouldn't it be just as easy from your balcony?" I retorted, gesturing to hers. Mrs. Jackson gave me a critical look as though trying to decide whether to be offended or not.
See, if I heard that there's random antennas just put on our roof in the neighborhood randomly, and I had no idea that, like, they were even there, I'd be a bit suspicious. I'd be like, how did they get here? I didn't hear anyone installing them. I didn't see anyone installing them. I'd be a bit suspicious, of course. Yeah.
It was only a subtle change from her usual expression, though I could tell she was becoming irritated. "My husband won't be home until tonight," she said, as though that was my fault somehow. "It'll only take a minute." It was just cold enough outside for politeness to suddenly become optional to me. "Oh, wait. I remember what that thing is," I said, turning back. I drawled out my words so I could make it all the way to my house before I finished. "That's just the government's secret surveillance program. Don't blow anything up and you should be fine." I swiftly shut the door before she could reply, and congratulated myself on a successful escape. I let my wife answer the door next time, and heard her apologizing over and over again on my behalf. I couldn't help but grin while she did so. My wife managed to get me out of climbing up onto the roof, but somehow we had lost Emma to Mrs. Jackson's daughter's sleepover during the negotiation. I didn't think anything more of the antennas until I left for work, and they caught my eye. They really did look quite odd to me, and upon looking closer, I noticed there were 2 dead squirrels on my rooftop right next to it, lying in a small pool of blood which dribbled into my gutter.
Ew. I don't know why, that was just so weird and disturbing to me as you said that. That was weird.
When I got home that night, I found Mr. Jackson kneeling on his roof beside the antenna. He was motionless and intent upon it, staring at it with such ferocity that I expected him to lunge and snap it off at any moment.
Imagine if he did though and he described it, like him jumping on it and snatched it off. Dude, that would have been so funny if the narrator described it. That would have been funny.
From the missus, I called up to him. Nice spot. He started to move his head towards me but stopped about halfway, his eyes never leaving the antenna for a second. Slowly, his head returned to its previously fixed position. I thought he might not have heard me, and I was about to try again when he said quite softly, "Can you hear it? The static." Hear what? Hey, look, you mind taking a look at my antenna too?
That gave me chills.
I think I saw 4 dead squirrels up on my roof.
4.
There were 4 now when I glanced up at my antenna. I shuddered, trying not to look at them. There must be a hawk or something that lived up there. Mr. Jackson slowly turned his head towards me again, his eyes finally breaking away from the antenna at the last moment. His mouth seemed to be moving, but I couldn't hear anything. I stepped closer until I could hear a faint buzzing sound. He was blowing air through his lips like Emma did when she was trying to make a fart noise. The vibrating of his lips sounded more like static, though. We locked eyes for about 10 seconds, him softly blubbering the whole time. Without another word, I turned and went inside my house, glad to be rid of him. I didn't feel comfortable.
I would question now, like, what's going on around here? I'd be questioning
about Emma sleeping there that night, but I couldn't think of a good reason not to let her go either. I packed her school bag with her dolls, a board game, and a whistle, just in case. I told her all she needed to do was blow the whistle if anything was wrong, and I would hear it and come get her right away. After 10 minutes of continuous whistle blowing, including once when she tried to make it sound different by putting the end into her nose, I had changed my mind and was kind of happy when Mrs. Jackson picked her up. Ever figure out what the antennas are for? I asked her. She gave me the stink eye.
Oh, that scared me. Stupid ad.
Innovation is risky.
Government surveillance, no doubt. Oh, that's nice. You hear that, Emma? You gotta be good or the government will come and take you away. Sounds good, Emma said. What a horrible thing to say to your child. Mrs. Jackson sniffed. Oh? How do you get your daughter to behave? I chimed back. Shirley doesn't need to be threatened. She knows good girls go to heaven and bad girls go to hell, and that's all there is to it. Mrs. Jackson huffed without the slightest sense of irony. We were interrupted by a loud shriek of a whistle. I want to go, Emma demanded. What are we still doing here? I felt slightly sick watching Mrs. Jackson take Emma by the hand and walk away. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I felt nervous. I watched them all the way until they got to their house and went inside. Mr. Jackson was still on the roof, but he turned away from the antenna to watch them go inside as well. It was hard to tell from here, but it seemed like his lips were still moving. I closed the door and took a deep breath. My wife and I had the house to ourselves, though, and that was enough reason to celebrate. It was freezing outside, but I left the window open that night so I could hear the whistle in case Emma needed me. My wife thought I was being overly paranoid, but apparently paranoia is cute when it comes to our daughter, so she let me keep it open. That should have made me feel better, but honestly, it didn't. In fact, I felt even worse because every moment that I didn't hear the whistle made me wonder whether something bad had already happened to her. I had bothered my wife enough already,
Foreshadowing, maybe? Foreshadow.
though, and decided to keep my fears to myself. I lay awake listening for the static sound, for the whistle, for something on the roof, for anything. But the night was dark and still, and little by little I allowed myself to lower my defenses and drift off to sleep. That night I dreamt of falling from a dizzying height,
Oh.
as though
Oh, don't get me started. I hate that. When you're falling asleep and then you wake up and you feel like you're falling. Dude, I hate that. Now watch. It's gonna happen to me tonight because I brought it up. It's gonna happen to me tonight. Just watch.
I was dropped from space. I kept going faster and faster, the wind whipping around me. But no matter how fast I went or how far I fell, I never seemed to get any closer to the ground. I could still hear the wind rushing by me when I woke up the next morning. It sounded a lot like a whistle. The next thing I remember, I was in my kitchen with 3 police officers standing around the table. They believed that Mr. Jackson had killed his wife during the night.
Whoa.
The hushed tones and ashen faces of the police told me not to ask exactly how. Most of their daughter, Shirley, was found in the living room beside her mother, although they seemed to be having trouble finding the rest. Mr. Jackson was nowhere to be found. I thanked God that Emma had escaped in time. The police found her hiding on the roof, clinging to the antenna all night long to keep her from sliding off.
The antenna makes you go nuts and kill your family and those around you. That was a surprising turn right there, man. I didn't expect that.
She must be suffering from shock and cold, they said. Because when they found her, she barely responded to them. She couldn't tear her eyes away from the antenna, or reply with anything besides a soft static noise that she made with her mouth.
Oh no. That was a good one. Yeah, that was good. That ending there, wait, hold on. So yeah, I rewatched a couple seconds there because from that, but like, the antenna makes you go crazy and makes you make a static sound with your mouth. That's why the daughter was making the static sound at the end there with her mouth, like, and she wouldn't look away from the antenna. Does the antenna like have some hold on you? It's definitely some government thing for sure. It's definitely some, maybe like a government experiment. Maybe an experiment to see what happens. What do these antennas do to people? Oh, they make them go crazy. And they make them kill people. They make them make static sounds with their mouth. This is a fail. Let's scrap this and never talk about it again. So yeah. Oh yeah, I just saw this description of the video. Someone had to have put them up, yes. That's my theory, that it's a failed government experiment, that like, they wanted to see what the antennas do to people and they got the results. But maybe some people are like immune to it, I don't know, not affected by it. I don't know, but that's really like, wow. I did not expect that turn. The police being there and Mr. Jackson killed his wife and his daughter. And then the other daughter. And then where did Mr. Jackson go? Did he just leave? Where did he go? I forgot about that. I just remembered that he left. Nowhere to be found. There's a lot of that's another thing I love about this guy's videos. 99% of his videos end with like some unsolved mystery or whatever that leaves you questioning, like, what happened? Who could have done this? Why did that happen? Who was that? Like, it's a very, these are very well made videos, and I love them a lot. This one was good too. First time watching it, it's a good video. It's a very creepy, disturbing video, especially the ending. I'm gonna mention that one more time. That ending was disturbing. The static sound at the end there I did not expect, actually. That kind of took me by surprise. But yeah. That was CreepyPasta Jr.'s Every House on My Block Got a New Antenna last night. Good video overall. Amazing video. Mysterious ending. Again, mysterious ending leaves you wondering what happened. Who put them up? Where did Mr. Jackson go? Why did he go crazy? Why was the daughter making the static sound at the end there? Things like that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Happy Monday. It's Monday. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. See you in the next one. Take care. Peace.